Hey everyone, we'll be starting in a moment and get everything set up, so please bear with me. Alright, that's done. Close these. Everything seems to be okay. Sounds being picked up, we're good to go. So, hello everyone, welcome to another stream of the Great Ace Attorney, and possibly the final one. Last time we had played this on Tuesday, we had managed to find the truth of the matter. Van Zieks was a killer, and so he's gone to prison, and we failed our first case. And now we're going home because we're done. Nah, but really we did find out Van Zieks was the killer, but not the Van Zieks we know. It was his brother, Clint. He was the professor, but it turns out that it was against his wishes, or against his will. He had to do it because Strongheart was the real villain and controller all along. He was doing it for justice. I was going to say for the right reasons, which wouldn't make sense. But, yeah. He was doing it for that. He was trying to get himself into a position of power so that he could make changes across the country, whether it's for the good or for the ill. Didn't matter. He did it illegally. Then Jones came in and was like, "I'm with the Queen, fool. She says you're fired." After he was trying to get out of it, and it was like, "No." And we won. Everyone's happy. We're going to be trying to see if we can, see what happens next. We're literally in the epilogues, which apparently is about an hour or two long. So it's a good thing that we split it off so we can do it into this stream and experience all of the bad, good feelings or whatever happens. Because there is still a little bit that we need to sort out, like what's going to happen with everyone else. Are we going back to Japan? What's going to happen with Gina? Is Van Zieks still going to be a prosecutor? Is Kazuma going to stay here or come back with us? Is he going to go back to normal? Is he going to always be an edgelord? Plenty of things. But we shall find out today. So without further ado, let us get to the game. Hey, Balaroth. Hey, Refratron. Welcome. Emotional time. Oh, boy. My favorite. Do I think Barak is happy? Has he ever been? That was weird. I just noticed that my the rack that I have my computer CDs on had moved forward enough that it was actually making the CDs fall to the back. Nearly fall off. Whoa! Right, let us see. Sound has been picked up, show up on there. Everything seems to be okay. We're good to go. Lots of scuff yesterday. I don't want to talk about yesterday. Nothing happened. But yeah, Final Fantasy 7 ended up not working. Ended up having to do like multiple things. It's like, okay, I guess I'll play Voice of the Void instead, and I had to stream that instead. Alright. Let's go. Continue. Yeah. In that picture, the one of his brother Clint this is literal evidence in that says yes, but it was 10 years ago. Huh? I'm sorry, I lost track of what we're talking about for that, but okay. The 4th of November, 4:21 p.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber, which is about several hours after we started the trial. It really is all over. But did I sacrifice too much? Ooh, excuse me. Mr. Naruhodo. I really must congratulate you. I thought she's going to say, I really must be going. You have sacrificed too much and I must leave you now. Because Kazma's here. My true love. It was truly a splendid performance. Honestly, I couldn't be happy for you. Oh, the happiness, right, yeah. For Van Zeeks. Oh, thank you very much. But really, I couldn't have done it without you at my side, though, through it all, Mrs. Addo. Oh. Your kind words mean so much to me. It really was a splendid show, that, Mr. Naruhodo. I'd have thought you'd be smiling from ear to ear, but you look rather glum. Well, of course I'm delighted about the verdict. But in exposing the truth, I'm afraid I've caused my client a great deal of pain. I'm really not sure that's what a lawyer ought to be doing. Oh, well, in that case, let's hurt him some more. I'm quite sure that when you see Lord Van Zeek smiling's face, everything will seem so much better. That's a great smiling face. Mr. Zato, everything seems worse. He has a face like thunder. Oh dear, I really shouldn't have presumed. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Almost a year it's been now since I first encountered you here in this very courthouse. But you have to have risen to the level of excellence that you demonstrated today. Well, it's quite remarkable. But I exposed the most unpalatable truth you could ever have imagined in court today. I feel as though I've robbed you of something you held so dear. What was it he said? To fight those who dwell in the darkness requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. But that was just the feeble excuse of a coward. Not only those with a steadfast eye for the truth have what it takes to fight the dark forces of crime. You made fine work of establishing that fact in court today. Oh. Well, thank you? What a magnanimous words. I'm quite sure that Kazuma-sama would have a smile on his face at this very moment if he were here. I am here! I've been here the whole time! Kazuma. Oh god! I was right! Mrs. Addo? There's another face like thunder here? Oh my, it really was here. The Lord Van Zeeks. Allow me to congratulate you on your acquittal. Congratulate me or curse me. You failed to bring down the Reaper. Oh, I brought down the Reaper, it's just that it wasn't you. I owe you an apology. No, it is I who should apologize. Your father, Genshin. If I had been stronger, then perhaps. I made an unforgivable error of judgment. I can offer no excuse. And I can offer no forgiveness. That said, I suppose you fought for justice and the truth, but that at least I can withhold, or I can't withhold respect. Your words mean more to me than you could know. I will hold them dear. Maybe you should come live with me. I am alone. I need my protege back. Kazuma-sama. I must say, there's one thing that's still bothering me. What's that? The will that Lord Clint Van Zeeks wrote before his duel with my father. Asogi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final 2 wishes. The first is that this document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I rest my quill. Clint Van Zeeks. Kazuma X Barrack is a bit of a guilty pleasure ship of yours. Okay, Baloroth. Hey, Saroon, welcome. Welcome to Stress-Free Teary Stream. Yay. What can the second of his final wishes have been? That your father agreed to honor, you mean? I think perhaps... Oh. I might be able to shed some light on that. What? Father? It was 10 years ago, as you know, the day before the execution was scheduled. I went to the prison to say my farewells to Genshin. Why aren't you putting up more of a fight, Genshin? If you'd only agree to it, Seishiro and I would gladly petition the government. We've been through enough already. You don't need to worry about me. Anyway, Yujin, I have a favor to ask of you. It's something of great importance. I'm trying to do a more subdued Kazuma. You're one of my greatest friends, Genshin. Whatever it is, consider it done. I'm going to tell you an address. I need you to go there at once, in secret and telling no one. You should find a lady of the gentry in hiding there. A lady of the gentry? She's not in a good way, and she's with child. The birth is imminent. No! I am... Wild guess here, but is it going to end up being that it's Clint's wife, and Clint and his wife... Well, his wife gave birth to Iris, and Iris is actually a descendant of the Van Zeeks. Is that what's going to happen here? As a medical man, I'd like you to attend to her. Please, you're her only hope. By any chance, is this child yours, Genshin? Don't be daft. It's a favor was asked by a man I knew as his dying wish. My goodness. I swore to the man that I would help. That I would do whatever I could for his wife and his unborn child. If something were to happen to me, I need to ask you that same favor. You're the only person I know that I can truly rely on. What did you say? If something would happen to you, tomorrow night you're going to be... I never know, you know. You never know, you know, what life could bring. All right, then. Tell me the address. I'll head there at once. With Seishiro and... No, not with him. Pardon? This is a favor I'm asking of you. And only you, Yujin. Right, I see. Well. Very well, then. Why the gremlin laugh? Because, you know, it's... I was going like, maybe I should just do an evil laugh, and I just went, don't, screw it, just do a funny one. That very night, I caught a train from Paddington, the Bear, to Dartmoor in Devon. I found the old house in the middle of nowhere. It was... An old hunting hound lay asleep in the grounds. I was just sitting in the middle of the room like that. The poor woman was on the floor at the back of a darkened room. She was in mortal danger. I broke her waters to precipitate the labor before she weakened further, but it was a torturous birth. Wow! I did everything humanely possible for her and her child. And in the end, I was lucky enough to welcome a new life into the world. But tragically, my efforts to save the mother's life were in vain. I held the healthy newborn girl in my arms and wept for longer than I care to remember. Eventually, in something of a daze, I looked around the room. There was precious little in it, but a very old travelling junk caught my eye. It had clearly been looked after over the years, made of top-quality leather with fine stitching. But if it was when I saw the emblem on the side of it that everything dropped into place. B for Baskerville. Baskerville? You mean the woman was the wife of Claude Clint Van Zieks? That's right. The newborn was his daughter. But that makes no sense. Why on earth would Clint have entrusted the child to... why on earth wouldn't Clint have entrusted a child to my care in that case? I was completely unaware that he even had a daughter. I suppose he didn't really have any choice? What? Well, your brother, Clint, said that he confessed everything to his wife. So she must have been beside herself with worry for her child. If the true identity of the professor were ever to be made public, the girl would be forever branded as the daughter of the infamous mass murderer. So the only solution was to distance the young girl from Van Ziek's family as much as possible. So, congratulations, we have a new orphan. We're collecting them like Pokemon. I don't believe it. I imagine that in his final hour, Lord Clint Van Zieks made the obvious choice. He would have thought to himself, the Japanese man here is someone I can trust. I am honored I honored my promise to Genshin, of course. However, only a month later, I was summoned back to Japan. And without disclosing the parentage of the child, I couldn't obtain permission to take her with me. Oh, how awful. I was completely at a loss. In the end, I had to ask my great friend. I asked him if he would be a father to her. That being Mr. Sholmes, I presume? Yes. He took one look into my eyes and agreed to it on the spot. Mr. Sholmes, he has a heart of gold. Really, all it can be said that I did for the child was to give her a name. Oh? When I'd come to Britain, I was trying to escape from the grief of losing my darling wife. So it was her name that I gave the little girl. Your wife's name, Professor Mikatober. In other words, the name of my mother. Ayame Mikatober. Oh! That's right, Ayame, or in English, Iris. Iris. I had no idea. Ouch! Mr. Naruhodo, what's wrong? The little thing just pinched me on the behind through the trouser pockets. Hard! So instead of pinching the ear, he pinches the butt? Ah, my dear fellows, can you hear me? Mr. Sholmes, is that you? Ow! Yes, we can hear you. You see what excessive tugging can do? Let that be a lesson to you. He's very vindictive, I guess. Ever noticed that Iris and Barak have the same eyes? Yeah, but you could say that about anyone. Mr. Sholmes, we weren't able to properly thank you before, but you were simply marvelous. Your checkmate move was a stroke of genius. Indeed it was, wasn't it? I surpassed myself, I feel. It had become apparent to me that to stop the Lord Chief Justice would require such measures, or injustice. Bruno, Susie... Oh, Iris. I'm so pleased. What a wonderful outcome. Her Majesty Queen Vicky said she thought my special blend was delicious. Oh, I'm sure she did. After all, no one brews a more delicious tea than you do, Iris. Let's have a party to celebrate. And Mr. Reaper, you simply must come too. I'm afraid I couldn't. The Reaper of the Bailey, flustered by a 10-year-old girl. Again. No, really? Oh, Pooh. Why'd they spell it like Winnie the Pooh? But I give you my word that I shall present myself at your residence in the near future to express my gratitude. Oh, how lovely. You promise now. I won't let you forget. Bye for now, then. All right, Iris. Thank you for all your help earlier. Oh, that was nothing. Just come back home soon. Ow! One final pinch goodbye, was it? They got that blue-eyed stare. Well, I think I ought to be leaving. Lord Van Zeeks, would you care to accompany me? Certainly. The two emo boys going together. Mr. Naruhodo, allow me to once again express my deep gratitude to you. I will not be paying you. Goodbye. I believe you saved my life. Wait, Lord Van Zeeks. Yes. What are you intending to do now? Well, clearly, I shall have to resign from the prosecutor's office. Oh, no. I intend to publicize the full truth about the professor's case. Once that's done, the Van Zeeks family will be ostracized completely from London society. Surely not. So as soon as I am freed from my employment, I shall leave the capital. Oh, I see. That might be Kazuma. Don't be a fool! Yeah. Are those the actions of a man once feared as the mighty Reaper of the Bailey? I beg your pardon. For the past 10 years, you've endured that pseudonym and been cast as one of the dark forces yourself. And now that you have finally been freed from that disrepute, your battle is just beginning. Surely. Well, I certainly never expected to hear those words from your lips. I've waited a very long time to come to London now that I'm properly here. I intend to learn all that I can. I can't look at my evidence list, so I can't confirm what age he is, but yeah, he's in his 30s at least. Anyway, goodbye for now, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You're not my friend anymore, bye! Kazuma Asogi. It seems as though he's really matured suddenly. He's not the only one who's matured, Mr. Naruhodo. Huh? Well, I think we should make our way back to the Baker Street. We must help Iris with tonight's dinner. We must. Objection! Hold it! Bang! It was then that I came to an important decision about my future. It's the chicken again. The 4th of November, 6:25 p.m. That's at least 2 hours later. I'm home. Oh. Ah! You actually said what I said. About time you got here. We've been waiting ages, Otto. What are you doing with that colourful piece of history? It's a party, innit? It's got to go off with a bang. I mean, fireworks, ideally. But when you ain't got fire, smoke's the next best thing, ain't it? There's a girl on Fresno Street who could help you with that, I think. Right. I'll remember that. You don't have to reload that thing every time I speak. Really must hear this. It's quite the most extraordinary thing. I assure you it will defy your expectations. Take down every detail now, Mikotoba. The world-famous great detective regaling this partner with the tale of his adventure, a sight to behold. Would you care to hazard a guess? Where do you suppose the fiendish runaway had concealed himself? Would you believe? Inside the trunk I found abandoned in his cabin. I would believe it, yes. I say, Mikotoba, I detect not a hint of surprise. I wonder why that is. Maybe because I was there at the scene as well, Sholmes. What? You were there? Then why the deuce did you say so before? Not quite the sight I was expecting to behold, but still. It's hard not to feel privileged to see it. Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Professor Mikotoba. Finally back from the Bailey. How did he get back before you did? Not a moment too soon. A feast prepared by Iris and Miss Susato awaits. I must say, I haven't seen Susato looking so happy in a very long time. Ah, Runo, there you are. Dinner's on the table, everyone. Please do come and take a seat. Time to fill me boots. What's she gonna do now? Is she gonna live with us? Is we gonna adopt her? So now she's like she's an inspector lawyer. Goodness, is that really true, Gina? Yep. I'm losing my copper's clobber and going back to what I know best. It's a diver's life for me. You're really leaving the police force, but why, Ginny? Really? Well, the boss ain't around no more, so... Oh. And anyway, no matter how hard I try, the Reaper ain't gonna accept a diver turned dick, is he? Dick as in detective, not that other thing. So it's safe. YouTube, don't flag it. How many years apart between Sholmes and Eugene? I think it's only a few. Like maybe 3? Well, people can change, you know. Yes, that reminds me. I rather thoughtfully offered to relieve the bailiff of this now defunct piece of evidence. Eh? It's the inspector's pocket watch, and the crown has been reattached. That watch was his pride and joy, a symbol of his great achievements at Scotland Yard. For 10 years without fail, it measured every second of the man's remarkable career. But now it's stopped. Someone needs to keep the memory of the Inspector Gregson's career alive. By taking on the great responsibility of winding that watch every single day again. Yes, someone with an equally fierce detective spirit. It gotta be me, there ain't gotta be no one else. Quite right. I mean, after all, the boss was... Well, he was my boss. Yes, Ginny, yes he was. Oh yeah, and I made you promise and all, didn't I, Iris? And then I'd become a private detective one day and track down your old man. Oh, yeah, about that. Alright then, it's decided. I'll do it. And I swear. I'll find your dad and bring him back kicking and screaming. I'm not entirely sure that would be appropriate. Yes, I think, Gina, it might be best to, well... I think you should forget that promise, Ginny. Eh? Yeah, because she has no idea about what happened. And what we've learned. I don't even know if Iris knows it, but, you know. Iris? Well, obviously I'd always wondered who my real daddy was, of course I have. I wanted to know where I've come from. I thought it might tell me something about myself. But I've caused such a lot of trouble trying to find out for so many people. Hurley, Runo, Professor Miki. Oh no, not at all, my dear. Really, you owe no apology to anyone. Well, anyway, I've decided to give up on it because I've finally realized my daddy is the greatest in the world. I don't think it matters what his name is or where he's from. Don't you agree, Hurley? With every word, Iris. Thank you, Hurley. Thank you. I think, Mikotoba. Yes, Sholmes. I think that I ought to express my gratitude to you. Oh? For 6 years, you and I have solved many a mystery together. And during that time, I remember countless expressions of gratitude for our good services. But a moment ago, I heard the most pleasing expression of gratitude of them all. And I should never have experienced it. Were it not for you. You old softy shows. But I must confess, it's a weight off my mind to hear you say it. Did he just do a twirl that fast? Well then, I think this calls for a lengthy violin recital, wouldn't you say? Oh, well, the food would go cold, that's the only problem. Maybe next week, Hurley? Are you sure a week is long enough, Iris? Even amidst the most troubling of cases, even reeling from the most shocking of revelations, returning in the evening to this suite of rooms, there's always warmth and happiness to be had. The home of the world's greatest detective, and my home too, with my greatest family. Never mind the one that's back in Japan, who cares about them? Fourth of November, 9:37 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. This attic room has been my home and office for almost a year now. I've certainly had some unforgettable experiences whilst I've lived here. Just think, he hasn't even been here a year and he's done all of this crap to like the entire like government system and lawyer system. If only change could happen that fast. But I think now, the time has come. Time to bid this place farewell. No. Naruhodo. Oh, it's you. Oh, Professor. Are you alone? I didn't hear any sound from Susato's room. Yes, Susato went out after dinner. She took a carriage. Where? Something about an important matter she needed to take care of? Ah, I see. I wanted to thank you for what you did earlier. Oh? With Iris, I mean. When the subject of her father came up. Lord Clint Van Zeeks. I made up my mind many years ago never to tell her who her real father was. It was what is agreed with Genshin, after all. Lord Clint Van Zeeks' final wishes before he died, you mean? Yes, I've had to take some rather drastic steps at times to protect the secret, you know. Recalling Susato back to Japan 6 months ago, for example. That's why. When I read Soseki-san's report about his final days in London, my heart nearly stopped. You stumbled across the crux of that terrible case, the dog's collar. The description of the Baskervilles insignia left me in no doubt. Baskerville. If you decided to investigate that insignia, sooner or later you've made the connection to the Van Zeeks. And to make matters worse, Susato knew of the unpublished story as well. That story that Iris had written based on my notes from the time. Doggy! Ah yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Exactly. It was a work of fiction, but based on the grim reality of the huge beast of a dog being used as a murder weapon. A dog with the Baskerville family emblem around its neck. Armed with those two clues, I feared you and Susato might arrive at the truth. So I invented that story about having collapsed to justify her leaving London and returning to Japan at once. All in the aid of halting any investigations you and she might have been contemplating. I see. You took away my wife! How dare you! Something I've never understood is why Susato-san came across that manuscript in Japan, though. You know, Iris the Hound of the Baskerville story, I mean. Sholmes sent it to me. That was before Susato left Japan. He was very troubled about what should be done about it, you see. I'd read it and carelessly left it on my desk, which is where Susato came across it, of course. It was the only other case Sholmes and I ever pursued that I didn't record in meticulous detail. I was stunned when I discovered that young Iris had been pieced together so much of it from my paltry notes. Sholmes and I discussed the matter and decided that we couldn't allow the story's publication. At that point, I returned to the manuscript by post to Sholmes for safekeeping. So, you did all that to stop Iris from finding out the truth about her father? That's right, because Sholmes had told me how astute she'd become. However, having witnessed events in court today, I must say my opinion has somewhat shifted. Oh? I think at some point in the future, that the time will come for Iris to know the truth. If there is a future game for this series, of this franchise, this series with the Great Ace Attorney, do not do what freaking Justice, Apollo Justice does, where they never tell them about their parents. Actually do it, okay? Saroon. Fun fact, the narrator is in the person that voices the intros, also voices Eugen's Take That interjection. Seems appropriate. Ah. And when it does, well, I believe it will be for the best. I think so too. Actually, Professor, I wanted to talk to you about something too. Judging from that expression, I'd say you've come to a decision, have you? Yes, I have. I will be returning with you to Japan. Are you quite sure? I'm really only here as a substitute for Kazuma. But he's here in Britain now, as originally intended. Locum student Naruhodo doesn't really have a right to stay, I think. I mean, you did more than what Kazuma did. You did a lot more. But I can understand having to go back to Japan so then you can get that justice system all sorted out, because it's not that great at the moment. Or it might be that Kazuma ends up going back and doing that for you, and then you get to stay here. I see. Hey, Astro Dude, Captain needs to stop the no spoiler rule? Yeah. Looking back now, when I first arrived here in February... My eyes! My becoming a lawyer just seemed to be the way things turned out. With Kazuma, Susato-san, and Mr. Sholmes all gently pushing me in that direction. I spent the best part of a year immersed in this world, but always aware of a seed of doubt inside me. Until today. Standing in that courtroom earlier, all doubts vanished from my mind. Whee! I was totally focused. I was sure of my belief in my client, and I was sure I could see the trial through. Alright, 1 second. I'm gonna have to make this change later for, like, Twitch. Because I am getting a bit frustrated with the amount of people that do this. There we go. I was totally, I believe my client, I was sure I could see the trial through. Yeah, viewer bot on Twitch. Yeah, I keep getting them. I don't know what's going on. I keep banning them and all this stuff, but they just keep popping up. At the end of it, I finally realized. No one else chose this path for me. I chose it myself. The path of defense lawyer, eh? Yes, that's what I am now. That's what I'll be going back with you to Japan as. And that's the path I'll be following for the rest of my life. Well, it does sound like you've made quite a resolution there. I have. Very well then. I must say is extremely welcome news. I shall make arrangements for your return first thing tomorrow, but I don't imagine we'll be departing for a few days. Not with the symposium having been cancelled now. Such a shame. Never mind, I'm sure there'll be opportunities in the future. Well then, I'll bid you good night. Him and his brushel mustache disappear. Oh, hi! Susanoo-san. I just wanted to let you know I'm back. Did you, hear what your father and I were discussing? I'm sorry, I did, yes. I couldn't help, but, It's funny that she's always the one that ends up eavesdropping, even if she doesn't mean to. Like, oh, what's this? It's a manuscript about the Hound of the Baskervilles? What is this? Oh, so he's thinking about going back to Japan. She just somehow always gets in the middle of things. Oh, how much did you hear? Well, from the part about Iris's real father, I think. You've been there the whole time. In other words, from the beginning. So you've made up your mind. You'll return to Japan and continue working as a defense lawyer? Yes, I'm sorry. I really should have consulted you about it. I did want to earlier this evening, actually, but you'd already gone out. Oh no, that's quite all right. I already knew that it was what you decided, Naruhodo-san. You did? I can see into your heart. Well, this is new. Susanoo-san. Yes? I suppose this means it, has to be farewell soon? I suppose so. Or, you could just ask her to come with you. Be your permanent additional, judicial aid. You'll be a great help to Cosmo going forward. I mean, I know he's a brilliant lawyer, but he's new to the British courtroom. He'll certainly benefit greatly having a brilliant judicial assistant at his side. I'll do my very best. Don't do the Japanese thing, the Japan Japanese anime thing where they're like, oh yeah, I can't tell you, and then it creates a whole thing. Don't do that. Wish I could say it, but I just can't. I can't ask her to come with me. After all, she was always supposed to be coming to Britain as Cosmo's assistant. You fool! Can I just go in the game and beat him up? Beat some sense into him? It's growing late. She's actually looking at the shovel and the ladder, remembering the fun times we used to argue about them. We should both try to get some sleep. I'm sure you must be exhausted after today. Oh, yes, you're right. Before I retire, let me just say one more time. You really were quite splendid in court today. So if you ask me, anyone who thinks of you as a substitute or a locum student should be ashamed of themselves. Well, there goes that writer guy who keeps calling me locum student Naruhodo Esquire. Susanoo-san. Thank you. Objection! it's this shot again. The 7th of November, 5:48, 2 p.m. or a.m. Port of Dover, Case side. Or Key. So that is, what, like 3 days later? I can't believe this day's finally come. Oh, they actually changed the lighting on her. You're really leaving then, Runo? I'm afraid so, Iris. Thank you so much for everything. I don't know what I'll do without your wonderful cooking and delicious tea. Oh, I wish you weren't going. But you have to come back and visit. Say you will. Of course. I promise. Well, it was a very brief reunion, but it was a pleasure to pursue a case with you again after so long. For a while, at least, it felt like old times. Yes, I suppose on reflection, there's something to be said for it. Having a little fun on once in a while. I'll just go and say goodbye to the professor as well, I think. All right, Iris, you do that. Yeah, I know it's pronounced Key, but there's like a dozen different people pronounce it differently, even if it's wrong, like me. I always cycle through different pronunciations for things at times. It's like, it's Key, no, it's K, no, it's Quay. At least they're both adults. Oh, you're talking about those two, yeah?
Susato-san.
Oh, suddenly voice acting.
I've just checked, Naruhodo-san. Your luggage is already on board. Such a beautiful morning. Perfect for embarking on a journey, isn't it?
Before I set off, I'd just like to say how thankful I am for everything you've done for me. And give my warmest regards to Kazuma, please.
Kazuma's not even going to see you off.
I think you ought to give him your regards in person, don't you?
Sorry?
Ryunosuke.
Kazuma! What are you doing here?
I've come to kiss you, and else I'm going to marry you.
Do you really think I'd miss my best friend's departure?
Thanks. To be honest, I'd been looking forward to our wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's capital, but,
Well, we'll have to save that for another time. Personally, I'm looking forward to facing you in court again.
Me too. But, we're both defense lawyers, so,
I'm going to become a prosecutor. I'll stay in Lord Van Zeek's tutelage for the time being, but before long, I intend to be just as formidable as the Reaper himself.
Oh, I see.
Actually, Ryunosuke, I have a favor to ask.
I'm going to give you my sword, because now that I'm not a defense lawyer, you have to do it.
Name it.
I'd like you to take care of this for me for a while.
I was joking.
Karuma? Why?
Because I've seen it now. I've seen what's inside me. The demon that reared its ugly head that day. It was only for the briefest of moments. The last time I came face to face with that inspector. But it was unmistakable. I wanted to kill him.
I mean, to be fair, everyone wants to kill someone at some point.
Demons that live inside people.
It's just if you act upon it.
And now I know there is one in me. The fact that it very nearly consumed me is something I'll carry with me until the end of my days.
Okay.
While I devote my life to fighting those whose demons have got the better of them. As a prosecutor.
Are his button flowers? I'm sorry, I just noticed that. I thought his buttons were just like crosses, but at an angle they look like flowers. Is that what they're supposed to look like? Oh, I guess I'm just stupid.
So, that's what you've resolved to do, is it?
Until I'm ready to face the demon within me. To slay it once and for all.
You can't really slay your demons. You kind of have to live with them and accept them. That means you haven't grown up at all. No, I'm just kidding.
I leave this in your care. If you'll take it.
And then it was never given back.
Of course I will. I'll keep it by my side. Always.
Are we going to fix the tip of it so then, you know, we can use it still? Or
Until we meet again, then. You have your path to follow, and I have mine.
Naruhodo-san?
Oh, I forgot you were here.
The path you're going to follow from now on. I wonder if I might follow it at your side, and unless I'd be a burden.
What? I mean, I would very much like you to come with me. But aren't you...
You're so predictable, Ryunosuke.
I am?
Honestly, you never change at all. But that's what I like about you.
You mean you knew about this?
It was the evening after Lord Van Zeek's trial came to an end. She came to see me at the prosecutor's office.
Really? Or when I had that conversation with Professor Mikotoba?
So, you'd go with Ryunosuke back to Japan?
Yes. I know it's unfair of me to follow my own interests like this.
Coming here especially to tell me. You're a stickler for etiquette, aren't you? Well, what are his feelings?
We've never discussed it, of course, and Naruhodo-san has made no such suggestion. I worry that perhaps I'd be a burden to him.
He's just as much of a stickler for etiquette as you are. He'd never say anything before he was asked. But I'd feel happy knowing you were with him. Look out for him on my behalf, will you?
Of course.
Susato-san.
What do you think, Naruhodo-san?
With you by my side, no trial would seem too daunting.
That's actually the best thing you could say there.
So if you're willing, I'd be honored if you'd come with me. Together we can take on the world.
Okay, now you're becoming a bit maniacal, but sure.
I'm terribly incompetent, but if you'll have me, I'd be delighted.
Oh, no, not at all. If anyone's terribly incompetent, it's me.
It's me.
What's wrong?
Your luggage, Susato-san. There's no time. The ship's going to set sail any minute now.
It's all right. There's no need to worry. As it happens, my luggage is already on board too.
It is?
Your fine judicial assistant has everything in hand as always, I see.
Bruno, your ship's about to leave.
Oh, she sounds nothing like I made her sound.
Time to
But then
go
no one does. No one sounds like the ones I did.
Look after yourself, Ryunosuke.
Kazuma, draw your sword.
Or is it actual, like, cutscene, or is it animated, like, in-game? In-game. Oh, they fixed the tip then. Sort of.
One day, when our paths cross, once more, we'll fight a duel of words across the courtroom. A day I eagerly await, as a lawyer.
I've been waiting to hear you say that, partner.
guys!
Don't forget me then, Kazuma.
Yeah, I thought they had fixed it. It's still chipped.
As if I could. Ryunosuke.
And Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. I'm very much indebted to you.
Indeed, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe you are.
I'll never forget all you've done for me during my time in London.
Quite. I should like to think you will remember your debt of gratitude. Especially when I visit you in your country. What? The truth is, although many are ignorant of the fact, the world is far smaller than most folk realize.
Well, I'd be delighted if you came to Japan one day.
Oh yes, would welcome you with open arms, Mr. Sholmes.
And she'd want you to sign every single one of her books.
Oh, that sounds wonderful! I can't wait!
In that case, let us conclude that this is to be merely a brief parting, my dear fellows.
And that brings us to the end of my adventures in Great Britain.
Man, Van Zeke should have shown up, and then we could have had him voiced.
A peculiar twist of fate brought me halfway around the world those many months ago. But that was just the start of my journey. Who knows where fate will lead me next? Still, I'm confident this won't be my last meeting with the friends I've made in London. And when we're together again, no doubt the first words I'll hear will be,
Come, the game is afoot.
And then as they go off the port, you just see on the side of the words of the ship, the Titanic.
With our friends from the east, sailed steadily towards the distant horizon. But Sholmes' face was alight with joy.
The times may change, but a steadfast friendship will remain true, Wilson. We have but to gently close our eyes, and we are with our companions once more.
So I do just that. And when I do, I can hear his strong, familiar voice ring out.
Objection?
Objection!
I called it!
So we meet again, Bruno.
Oh. That was great. Is it going to do the stereotypical, like, right stuff? Yeah. I've been thoroughly inundated with inquiries about my remote cinematography since that day. But I'm not a purveyor of electrical goods. And what of the promised closed court secrecy? Anyway, I've decided that an absence from London is in order. A sojourn in distant climes. The Emperor of Japan, perhaps. I understand the wardrobe class incurs no charge whatsoever. Peak fiction. I gave a little note to Hurley the other day. It just said, "Thank you for everything, Daddy." But it made Hurley cry. Of course it did. I gave him some lotion I'd invented as well to dye his hair red safely. But he said that might make him cry too, so he'd rather not use it. In those days when I was known as the Reaper, I felt your presence at my side. Once unable to bear the burden of that grime pseudonym, I even retired from the courtroom. Despite everything, I still wear your prosecutor's badge with pride. But the darkness that once beset me is no more, as you too are no more. In the words of a young foreign friend of mine, I must stride forward towards a brighter future. His brother, Clint! Yes, exactly. It's truly been a roundabout path. Oh, God. The boss left a note for me, you know, and I can read every letter now, A to Z, the whole lot. It's cleared a load of stuff up. The boss was trying to protect me, see? And that's exactly what me and Chief Inspector Toby here are going to keep doing for Londoners. I only wish I could have said how grateful I was before, you know. And then she became a great detective in her own right. I can't believe the exhibition is still dirty like that. Gina, the truth is I'm not the upstanding fellow you think I am. You might think of me a diver at heart, but it's a good heart. You reminded me I need to be true to myself. I've got one more job to take care of before it's ta-ta to London for town for the foreseeable. And then, I've got to complete your education in the art of detection a la Gregson, as they say. That's a new face, isn't it? He hasn't done that expression before. I don't know what you said, Rafatron. I've already lost it, so... Oh, God. Your Excellency, this man is accused of illegal entry in the office of the Foreign Ministers of Affairs. Objection! I'm clean chamber ruled. The ministers of Britain anyway. Who is this caddish counsel of the defense and the woman forbidden to enter the courtroom? I can't remember how I did her voice. Oh, God, so my friend is outside the British courtroom and I'm doing a wonderful job. I can't remember. Perhaps I should have engaged the services of a regular legal team. We haven't seen these guys since, like, the beginning of the game and then the other game. Oh! Mama, is it true about Japanese people? Are they experts at filleting corpses? Yes, they are. Fish corpses on the whole. I'd like to hone my own filleting skills. You don't mind, do you, Mama? Yes, I do. I'm not a corpse yet, am I? No. And I'm glad. You will be soon, though. Getting tried for murder. You killed someone, so you're going to be executed. At least until... When is it they get rid of execution? I think it's like the 1920s, 1940s, something like that. And here I am again in Great Britain on the invitation of my dear old university friend. He sent me a very nice letter saying he'd like to show me around that everything is settled. But what have I done? I was so excited. I picked a splendid hotel. Now I can't afford the bill. Oh, Barrett, come to my rescue again, please. I wish I could vanish into thin air sometimes. Aunt Maria asking her what a MILF is. Oh, God. When I went to make that waxwork impression of the killer in the cemetery, I realized what had happened. But even the witness stand in the highest court in the land, I could never speak of it. The Lord Chief Justice and I had struck a bargain, you see. For a faithful reproduction of the visage, there is nothing we two spells will not do. I wish you were in it more, my wife! Everyone calls me Gossip. I sell Johnny tidbits to passers by, you know. Everyone calls me that Pino, and I sell the spaghetti, and it's a more red in my hair. Everyone, they call me... No. I cannot do it. This is ridiculous. Oh, Daly. How charming. You've made lots of new friends here, I see. How is that a good thing? Yes, and when we're released, we're gonna just strike it rich together. Of course you are. Are you going to do it legally or illegally? Who's next? Oh, it's you. When I was accepted on the foreign study tour, I knew exactly what path I had to take. and however it might have ended, I knew that I wanted you there to see it. If I'd ended up on the dock, there's no way I would have rather had defending me. Something. I can't read. But now, thanks to you, there's a new path I wanted to take. I'm sure we'll meet again in the courtroom, my friend. Until then, I'll leave Karuma in your care. How did he get spaghetti in prison? He just has it. He has like a spaghetti dimension he reaches into. He just gets that. I've made some tea, Mr. Naruhodo-san. It's important that you rest while you can. Once we arrive in Japan, you shall be busy establishing your new office. I'm so delighted to be accompanying you. After all, your talents have been recognized by a great detective. Because you really are the greatest of lawyers. A great ace attorney. Some might say, roll credits. Again. Yes, it really is the great... I am really the great ace attorney. I have also shown my resolve. Second credits. Hey! He finally filled in the eye! Oh! We wouldn't get there if we had missed it. Migotoba's not in the shot. Oh, he may have been taking the picture. The kitty! The cat disappeared after a while. He never showed up until that moment. Are we going to do the walking thing again? Who's to say she's not visiting his room? Oh yeah, when she dressed up as a guy. And she still rocks the outfit. Multiple cats. Oh wow, he's a lot shorter than I thought he was. He's shorter than we are. This photograph guy. Soseki. Bugahai gets to be in the picture, but not Barak. I figured he was going to follow with that. They're doing the same pose. Oh god, yeah, the stupid dancing guy. Hosonaga is still dying. The bee woman and the bee man. What is he doing? He's just doing random poses. Robot man. He lost his balloon. You get another one. It's the best character in the game. They're ready to fight, I guess. I wish they redid this with anime cutscenes. It would be good. It would be nice. But I have nothing against the actual 3D animations they did. It's actually pretty good. I can actually read this says now. Hot actual hero. Wait a minute. He's there, but also here. How does that make sense? Did you get fired from your place now because you were hiding evidence? Or are you going to stay in charge of the whole prison? What's he doing? I was half expecting the dog to also salute then. Oh, okay, now they're both dancing. Yeah, the Shome Shuffle. It's the judge who ended up turning out to be a murderer. Too bad for you. And you, the guy who I actually thought was the murderer. Literally the first moment I saw him, I said that he looked like a villain, and he turned out to be the villain. I was right from the get-go. Rapatron lied to me. You all did. And there's Kazuma. Oh, where's Van Zeeks? He didn't show up at all. Yay! That's Baroth and my bit. I say he's a good boy. Baroth says he's evil. He was back there with Albert? I want him again. Bring him back. Yeah, zoom in. The Great Ace Attorney to resolve Finn. All right. Yeah, I think that the way that this ended probably is better than the first one. I mean, not to say the first one was bad. It's just because they split it up into two things, they had to, divert like half the story. But this felt like a fuller conclusion. I like this. This is nice. Yeah! Alright, and that's the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. How long was that stream? Wow, an hour and 30 minutes, so it was almost exactly an hour. You said it was 2 hours. You lied to me. But that was good. That was great. In Spirit of Justice 2016, Paul Ashton's Palanquin features a drawing of painting of Daruma with only one eye, which may be a reference to Ryunosuke's Daruma Dawn GAA2-1. Oh, okay. But yeah, that was fun. That's this series done. Let's see what we got. Do we get more gallery stuff? Ooh. Ooh, it's from the behind. On the side, where he wears his jacket. He has like 2 horns. Different designs for him. He had a ponytail at one point? That would have been weird. He's got chibi form. Got those. Do I have to like double click them? I do. I didn't realize they had things. I thought I'd just click them. Let me show you how some of the character design and scene settings work. The Stoic University student uniform befitting the period, but I didn't want to be too generic. I altered the cut on the back and the sleeves and added some details to suit the Japan in the world of the Great Ace Attorney. Oh, whoops. I'm trying to go to next, but it's not. Here goes principal in court, camera angle. He has his sword drawn because, well, I just wanted to see what it looked like. Imagine if he went to court and he had the sword out. And he's just like, I'm ready to not get my defendant guilty. Traveling to Britain outfit, including school cap and cape as they tend an obvious period air, being so different in modern clothing. Very first proposals. No scenarios had been written at the time, so I had Ryunosuke younger than he ended up, and his hairstyle was based more heavily on his descendants than others, some faithful to the period. Male hairstyles during the Meiji period were nowhere near as diverse as they are today. They were either cropped short, side parted, or swept back. To distract myself when I was stuck in the hairstyle, turns out they came in useful to explain how the game works in the game's proposal documents. Oh, it's AD. I'm pressing. That's why. Overall character design is reasonably complicated. Hey! This is the female lead. Female student embodied the principle of Yamato Nadeshiko, or a personification of the quintessential Japanese woman. So I decided to use the easily identifiable typical Japanese cherry blossom. Blah, blah, blah. Impeccable upbringing. Complement Ryunosuke's travel clothes, knowing it would only appear in an anime cutscene, and decided to keep the design overwhelmingly simple with the exception of the clasp. Yeah, now think about it. This only showed up when it was in the cutscene when they first arrived. To be styled appropriately into the periods while at the same time being a little out of the ordinary. Relatively simple silhouette, but actually quite complicated. Photo portrait was drawn while the kimono pattern wasn't finalized. Oh, she's even younger here. Oh. With Mr. Takumi's scenario development, I got a better feel for the character and softened her into a refined young lady. It was drawn to help with anime creation. Anime cutscenes form bridges between various scenarios in the game, so it's vitally important to avoid any discrepancy between the renderings of the character. Do not interfere with the anime artists of the work, but sometimes minor corrections are required. It's a constant dilemma for me. This was how she appeared alongside Ryunosuke. In the end, I think that the contrast in conduct and bearing between the two helps establish her as a memorable female lead. It's Sholmes! Why does he look so fantastic here? Like, what? $450? What do you mean 450? You mean like subscribers? Oh wow, I did. Nice. Well, congratulations everyone. We reached for 450 subscribers. Thank you. Done at the Greatest Attorney, Greatest Detective. Steampunk elements of the Victorian era. Greatest Stylish range of various period elements and some iconic characteristics. Personal crest combines the cogwheel motif of his consulting detective business and the simple flower designs of Iris's crest. Alright, we'll be here for a while looking at all this, but we'll go through it quickly. Him in his bag, gun, pipe. His shoes. Him with his goggles on. Him without his jacket on. His little tiny machine. He looks so tired. And then that's him looking even weirder. I actually have to look at this one. It was proposed to portray a somewhat dark London with heavy steampunk influences. In the end, the Sholmes was too diluted, so the design was scrapped. Game shows as a man whose striking appearance is only diminished by the striking erroneous of his transcendent assumptions. Interesting. Iris, there she is. There's the flower. She has a grenade launcher, various types of guns. Backpack. Look at the little teddy. This is supposed to be Sholmes, and this is supposed to be Iris, I guess. Oh, God. It's so weird seeing her without the pink hair. It looks like a completely different character. I drew her older in the final game with a more ladylike air. Huh. Kazuma. This was when he was young and innocent. Oh, I gotta know what that thing is. I gotta go on this one. Base design. Billowing Hamachi headband is there to differentiate him from Ryunosuke, giving him more confident and combative energy. There's no doubt that wherever Kazuma is, the winds of change are blowing. Oh, you're not gonna tell me about this? There's his shoes. There's him with a sword. Where does he kill someone? Oh, God. He looks like a nerd there. Whoops. He looks so different. Which should have glasses. Eventually, we settled on Satoru Hasanaga. Out she doesn't count. Whose design ended up with just a Hachimachi band instead. But for a while, competition for who would become the bespectacled one was fierce. They cut the DLC mini cases? Yeah. There's a picture of Sholmes in it, and he literally looks so stoned. Him with glasses again. Hair a little different. And this is closer to his final design, I'm assuming. Then we got Van Zeeks. The swords. So dashing. He pretty much stayed consistent throughout. The only thing that really changed is the hair part. Oh, God, never mind. This part is completely different. And now he's become Sephiroth. Title image, character collage, Yuji Mikotoba. Oh, well, they made him really dapper when he was without the mustache. Maybe this was when he was younger, but damn. Various stages. Hey, Matt, welcome. Supreme Court Jujin. Oh, boy. These guys. The guy that's always looking like he's dying. Giselle, Nikolona Pavlova. I miss you. Oh, whoops. Miliov's Russian appearance. Her image was based on the idea of the Russian fairy. Was she? Oh, okay. I was constrained in terms of her clothing, but since there aren't many orthodox female forms in this game, I did try to bring out the telltale lines of a young lady, even though the layers of disguise. A feline friend is obviously a Russian blue. Or Bailey Judge. He does dress like Santa Claus! Jurors. Cremor with the Emporium said his name. Soseki. Ooh, pretty tat. John and Joan. Full moon, half moon, or crescent. It's these two. Gregson and Lestrade. Male Strongheart. Egger, Benedict. The fabulous of villains. GAA Adventures Commemorative. And then Resolve Commemorative. Brothers of the Dawn, I turn to the iconic final scene at daybreak between Ryunosuke and Kazuma for inspiration in this symbolic illustration of their parting of ways. The image of the sunrise between their crossed swords was something I desperately wanted to include in the game, and it turned out to be a very emotional, powerful scene. It hints at their futures while showing the metaphorical dawning of a new age of the law. Rushing off down their respective paths with conviction in their hearts, Ryunosuke and Kazuma dash away in opposite directions from the rising sun until the days their fates would cross once more. Whereas the two of them were facing the same direction in Brothers of Ambition Dreams, Brothers of the Dawn represents a final and thematic counterpart to complete the set. Look at him, he's so young here, doesn't even look like the same character. End of game, same themes, motives of the pictures. Take away from the good vibes as of finishing each title, so I gave it a lot of thought. In the end, I settled on using Ryunosuke and Kazuma as the two of them embodiment of the great Ace Attorney. Just before they set sail for Great Britain, standing shoulder to shoulder. And at this experience in the events of the adventures, it's like going back in time. It's sure to stir up all sorts of emotions. I drew a similar picture once for the Adventures book, but as this piece was going to be used in-game, I made it more like a snapshot or something that might have happened in the story itself. Cool. Moving pictures. Huh? 7 Days of Sin, evening day 1. Well, these are like actual sort of cutscenes. I thought there would be cutscenes from the game. I didn't think they'd just be things. I guess we can briefly look at one. The visuals in this game may differ from that in the actual game. We got mouse. We got whatever this is. We got another mouse. We got bunny. It just completely contradicts the facts. It completely and utterly contradicts the facts. Oh God. That was a... things.
来年発売予定の大逆転裁判で奇跡の出会いが待っているのですが
I guess this is like promotional work for like the actual
この
games.
大法廷で一足早く会えるらしいのです。日本男児としてやり手なところを見せておきたいじゃないですか。
やる気でございますね。なるほど様。
And of course it's all in Japanese, none of the English
なんだ
ones.
かちょっと怖いですね。夜の大法廷は。
先ほど
Am I hearing voices?
ロンドン島恐怖展もそれは恐ろしゅうございましたから。
The whole of horrors
佐
of
藤
the
さん、
Tower of
ロ
London.
ンドン中の催し物を調べ上げていますよね。
明日見て回る恐怖展の予定もかっちり組み上げてありましたもん。
別に恐怖限定でなくてもいいと思うけど。ところで、さっきから何か聞こえませんか？
So they specially animated a whole thing just for like promotional stuff?
やめてください。ロンドン島恐怖展の直後でやや敏感になっていますから。何者だ
it's Sholmes.
なるほど。
Sort
ど
of.
うやら全て見えたよ。
We might not watch the whole thing. We might just have a quick like glimpse at it because if it's like official stuff, it might be copyright.
つまり
Italian
殺害
chef.
されたイタリア人のコック長だ。
Yes. It was just a brief look at it. But interesting. You said to check out the auditorium, was it? Voice recitals.
Objection! Hold it! I'm sure everyone knows by now who it is.
That's different.
Your testimony completely contradicts the facts. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes, there's a clear inconsistency here. I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. I will become a lawyer. I have to.
Hold it! Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense. Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time.
So I
have
guess
vital evidence to substantiate the defense's claim.
so I guess these are just like snippets of things they'd sent in or like they did as tests. Because they did keep the hold it, but they didn't do all of this.
It really is a dream come true. We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves, if we have to. Prepare for a Susato takedown! Hiya!
Objection! Now, let us engage in the art of deduction. Mr. Naruhodo. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular.
Wow.
It
Okay.
would seem the truth is now tantalizingly close.
Why did he say that so seductively? Like
Yes,
what?
My mind is quite made up now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Holmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Iris.
Objection! It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson.
Yeah, that fits her. I was like, is it going to fit her? But no, the voice does.
The tea's brewed, and I have some freshly baked biscuits as well. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention.
A cannon! Bang! It just like destroys an entire building with
Iris
it.
Wilson is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular.
You can't linger? Well, thanks for coming in, why not, Matt? I'm glad you're able to at least see the finale. We'll be finishing up soon anyway, but we're just looking at the...
You're the best lawyer in the world.
Damn right. Kazuma.
Objection!
I have faith in you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, as a lawyer and as a friend.
And as a murderer.
I'm determined to bring about change in our legal system. A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go and cuts down anything that's in my way.
That's the voice where the kitchen gun animatic came from.
Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest.
Oh, Barrett.
Objection!
The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
I actually got pretty close to how he actually is. I'm not, you know, a voice actor, so it's not going to be as good, but I was in the same ballpark.
Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you're a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur.
He said amateur. He said it's amateur, not amateur.
Objection! My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage!
Oh god, he's so angry.
The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
He's so angry. Jesus.
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Sherlock Holmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such.
Okay. Okay. He's actually pretty damn good. Okay.
The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed.
He said that with such contempt. Oh, okay. Well, This is making me want it so then the whole thing was voiced. We've done all the escapades, so we don't need to do those. He wanted me to look at one of the Gina things, so I guess I could look at those. If I can find her again. Gina. Oh, scruffy. Tobias Gregson, I decided Gregson as a stereotypical Scotland Yard detective of the day. His collar turned up, the obligatory packet of fish and chips in his hand. Is he just saying that every person that was a detective had fish and chips at some point? As he's always stuffing them in his pockets, I imagine his hands and the lining of his pockets are constantly covered in chip fat. Lol. Okay. Whenever I see him eating, my stomach starts to rumble. Gina Lestrade. Gina was the character who underwent the most changes as a result of story rewrites. Okay, originally she wasn't even going to be a pickpocket at all. Consequently, I had to redesign her in the later stages of the production process. Her outfit helps portray a complete lack of money, and Mr. Takumi requested that I make her clothes not fit her quite properly as well. That's the reason why her shirt is too large for her, for example. From my perspective, I wanted to allow her feminine spot to shine through beneath her boyish appearance. Okay. But that is the end of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And it's the end of the series. Man, it's kind of sad. Like, I'm enjoying. The thing is that I enjoyed this game. This game was actually really good. Like I said, I was surprised by how good it is. I didn't think it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be this good. It's definitely up there. I mentioned it before, but I will say again, this is above the Apollo Justice game. It's above Spirits of Justice. It's above Ace Attorney 3. I think in some circumstances, it might be above Dual Destinies, which is my favorite, but it's not the favorite or top. Is it better than 1 and 2? I think I might actually put it as equal. I think it's up there. I think it's really, really good. I actually am surprised how much I like this. It's so good. It just feels a bit weird because obviously it was supposed to be one game, but they split it into two separate ones because of time and all that kind of thing. I think if they did it as one big massive game, it probably would be a lot better. The only problem is that it'd be a big game. But this is great. I think it's good. It's a lot of fun. I like the characters. There's no real complaints beyond maybe that sometimes it feels a bit rushed, where like during the first cases. But that's like a very minor thing. Overall, it's great. It was fun. Favorite 3 games that are interchangeable, ranking from Hollow Knight and Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. I can't read. I said diabolical, which is not a word. But yeah, this is great. I do think that it feels a bit weird because the animated cutscenes were all there in the first game, and then when the second game came around, they didn't have any. It feels a bit odd. I don't dislike that they used the models that they did. I actually think they revolutionized how they used it in these games, because the previous ones, the models were there, but they were always like in a static position and like in a static spot. They weren't like in the background or in the foreground or whatever. They weren't used to like the full capability. Here, they actually tried to provide depth and make them interact with the background and stuff. That was great. It was a lot of fun. So I'm hoping that in the future when they do other games, they're going to keep doing that. I do hope there's going to be a sequel to this series, because this was great. I would like to see a sort of, not conclusion, but like, oh, they meet again in the future and they're older, and now they got to fight in court for the truth. And that would be cool. I'd like to see that. And I'd like to also see a main series game for, just Ace Attorney, to see that what they did here be used in that. So yeah, I definitely give this like a 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of 10. But for now, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's very, very good. And I appreciate that I was able to get this through my patrons. So thank you very much for supporting me on there. Without your help, I would not have been able to experience the series as soon as I did. But now I've got to go on a journey of trying to find out what to replace this with, looking through my game list, seeing what I can do next, and going from there. But yeah. So that is it for today. Thank you all for joining. I hope you all enjoyed this series. I'll be back tomorrow, I think. I need to decide if I'm going to be finding another game or if I'm going to be doing Voices of the Void again. Just until next week is when I can finally look for my list and see what I can do instead. But that's the highest ranks you've given, is it? Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it's that good. It's a 9. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with Voices of the Void or whatever. So until next time, y'all take care. Rest of the day. And as usual, thank you for joining. If you have not already, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, do the bell notifications here on next stream. If you want to help support me, you can do so through Patreon and tips. And if you do become a patron, get named to the Patronist here, where I'll give you a shout out every stream, like I do with Hiro Kuni, the Swordmaster 87, and Rafaton 2000. And thank you for the continued support. I greatly appreciate you all. And we end the case and mark a new beginning era of lawyering. And, it helps just getting more games to come in so you can watch me play more things. So, yeah. Again, thank you for watching. Y'all have a nice rest of the day. It's been fun. I'll see you all either tomorrow or next week. And until then, y'all take care and have a good one. Bye, Balroth. Bye, Repatron. Bye, Matt, if you're still here. Bye, Saroon. Bye, Astro Dude, everyone else. I'll see you next stream. Bye.